If you fix what I'm about to show you, you will jump higher instantly. And so many of you guys struggle with this, and I'm talking about going knee to knee. And every time I explain this, there's a lot of confusion on what I am talking about. So, for background, this is the penultimate step. The penultimate stands for second to last, and it's the second to last step in your approach. And it's this really big step that you take on your 2 foot jump approach. The purpose of the penultimate step is to lower you so that you can spend more time applying force into the ground and then you'll jump higher. All right. That's how you maximize something called impulse in physics, which is force times time. So, it lowers you, right? If you pay attention to where my head is at right here, I always use the background to note where my head is at. As I take my penultimate step, right? My arrow is where it was at. And look, it goes down and down and down and down and down and down. And I really lower as I plant. Look how low I get, right? You have a bad penultimate step if your head rises above. So right here is mid support of my penultimate. So you never want to see your head go like this above that line. You want to go straight down. And then not only do you want to have a long penultimate so that you lower, you want the rhythm on the last 2 steps to be very quick. That way you can have as efficient of a stretch shortening cycle as possible. Stretch shortening cycle is a very quick lengthening action. So your muscles and tendons lengthen. They're a unit. It's called the musculotendinous unit, or MTU is how they usually describe it in research. You want the MTU to lengthen and then shorten very fast. That's called elasticity. Elasticity is how quickly can a material revert back to its original shape after it's been stretched. So you want to see a very quick lengthening and then a very quick shortening. And the quick shortening happens from lengthening. When you lengthen, energy is stored in the musculotendinous unit and then it's released and it produces more force, right? So to do that, you want to make these last 2 steps very fast. Well, specifically, the rhythm has to be very quick. So these last 2 steps right here, 1, 2, all right, 1, 2, it happens very, 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 very quick. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to play it right here. Look how fast, like, look how little time those last 2 steps are on the ground for. Boom. And I fly, I'm flying on up, right? So in order to do that, I like to cue knee to knee. So what I mean by knee to knee is before, so let's go one more frame forward. Before my plant foot has hit the ground, my knees are parallel with each other. So parallel means side by side, right? So one knee's here, the other knee's here. If you look at it sideways, one knee's here, one knee is here. The biggest mistake guys make here is their left knee is way farther in front. So it's left leg hits, and then their block foot takes 5 to 7 business days to come through and hit the ground. Now, how is it that you get knee to knee? Because I don't cue knee to knee when I'm jumping. I'm not thinking knee to knee right here. Right? You don't want to do that. The best way to do a cue is to have these phrases. It's like 1 or 2 words that you think that makes you hit the right positions in the approach. So all I'm thinking about, big penultimate, big push on the penultimate, cover a lot of ground. Those are all cues that you can think of. Why does that cue allow you to go knee to knee? It's because the more time you are in the air on the penultimate, so right here, I'm midair, the more time you're traveling in the air, the more time this leg has to reposition and come through. The other thing that I think of is last 2 steps as quickly as possible. So right here, 1, 2, thinking 1, 2 as fast as possible. Something you can even play around with is big penultimate and then try to hit those 2 steps together, right? So think like a jump stop when you play basketball. Somebody that did this that actually jumped like this was Justin Darlington. You can look him up. Justin Darlington from Team Flight Brothers. He would plant though his last 2 strides almost together, and he was like beyond knee to knee. And you can be beyond knee to knee. If you look at right here, I haven't hit the ground yet. My knee, I'm beyond knee to knee. Most athletes, this knee right here would be like right here at this point in the approach. That's because this foot is coming in. I'm trying to hit this foot and this foot together, right? I'm trying to hit those as basically as close together as possible in terms of rhythm. So again, think long penultimate, very fast last two steps. If you do those two things combined, uh, you'll be able to have a jump like this. Now, another thing, when athletes try to go knee to knee, big mistake they do is they short their penultimate. So I want to see you leave that foot behind you. The cue or the visual thing that I'm looking for is the knee behind the hip at toe off of the penultimate. That means your penultimate step is long enough. Are you pushing your hips forward? Right. So you should be feeling a stretch on that in that right leg. I'm pushing my hips forward. I'm not to get a long penultimate. I'm not kicking. I'm throwing my knee and hip out. I'm not throwing my foot out. Again, I'm repeating this because it's very important. I'm not throwing my foot out. I'm throwing my hip and knee forward. It's like I'm kneeing a little person, right? I'm doing like this type of thing. And my chest is out. Boom. I'm throwing my hips forward. Big stretch in the rec fem. That's going to make you have a long penultimate. And then combine that with planting those last two steps with as fast of a rhythm as possible, and you will fly. Having said all that, at THP, I can look at your jumps and analyze it and break it down. Just how I did this here with my jumps, I can do it for you if you sign up for THP. It is currently 50% off until December 2nd, right? So it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So this is your chance to go sign up for THP. And I'll catch you guys on the other side. Like the video. It helps the algorithm a lot. See you guys next time. Peace out.